Hi guys, my name is Kristen and I'm a recent graduate from Harvard College. As someone who has been homeschooled for 10 years and is the oldest sibling of 3, I absolutely love teaching and help students shape their high school and/or homeschool experience and college applications to maximize their chances of getting into a good college. Many high school juniors have asked me about the college application process. Common questions I get are, when do I start writing college essays? How do I know which college to apply for? What are my chances of getting into XYZ school? Does being homeschooled put me at a disadvantage? And many more questions. So I decided to make a quick video sharing how to even start the college application process. This video is geared towards current high school juniors in their spring semester and seniors in their fall semester. If you're a parent or a younger student watching this, good for you. It's always great to plan early. So with that, let's get started. I've divided this video into 2 sections. The first section would be coming up with a college list, and the second section is starting on college applications, or starting on college essays, actually. There are obviously more steps in applying to colleges, so I may post more videos on those. For instance, one would be filling out the extracurricular activities and awards section of the Common App. But I think that these 2 steps that I mentioned earlier should help you get started. I'll include timestamps below in case if you already know how to do steps 1 or 2. And great if you know both. So let's get started. Step 1, coming up with a college list. I typically recommend students group their colleges into 3 different categories: reach schools, target schools, and safety schools. Reach schools are your dream schools. They're the ones where you have a slim chance of getting in, but would absolutely love to attend. A few reasons why they may be a reach school could be having a high test score and GPA requirement. A good way to check this is to compare admission statistics of that particular college against your own test scores and profile. Another reason why a college may be a reach school could be that they accept a small number of students. Pomona is a great example. They are a very good school, but they also accept a very few number of students, making it already even more difficult to get in. There are definitely other reasons why school may be a reach school, so it will depend up to you. I typically recommend that students apply for at least 2 reach schools. Some may want to apply for even more, and that's really just up to you. Target schools are those schools that typically fit your test score profile, and again, a good way to check that is to look at the admission statistics of the schools you are interested in. I would think another good way of defining a target school would be that if you get rejected or get waitlisted, that's probably not because of anything you did. It's just something in the variability of admission readers and just the normal and always increasing competition in college applications. I typically recommend students to apply to 3 to 5 target schools. This is usually the category where you want to apply to the most number of colleges, especially since these are likely going to be the best fit for you. Now, safety schools. As you can probably guess, safety schools are those schools that you are almost 100% sure that you will be accepted to. A good way to check again is looking at the admission statistics and comparing that against your test scores. Your test scores should exceed those admission statistics in every category. The reason why I recommend students apply to safety schools is that, again, there's a lot of chance and variability in the college application process. And the last thing you want to do as a senior in high school is apply to only reach and target schools, and let's say things really just don't work out, you're super unlucky, and you don't get accepted to any college. That's the scenario where safety schools come in, because at least you'll be guaranteed to get into a college. Sounds kind of sad, but it's always good to prep against worst case scenarios. Usually, I personally haven't met anyone who actually needed to go to their safety school, so this is more so just a safety net and a backup. I typically recommend students apply to 2 safety schools. What I just covered is a really good way of organizing your college list. But if you're having trouble of deciding what colleges to even put on this list, I would take a step back and start from what are sort of your requirements for the college you want to attend. Are there any geographical restrictions? Are there any sort of schools where you have friends attend and have told you great things or terrible things, so you know which ones you want to avoid or which ones you definitely want to go to? I would say these sorts of conversations and thoughts are a really great place to start. You can always talk to your teachers, your parents, friends. You can even reach out to me as well. I can be reached through my website. All you have to do is fill out the contact form submission, and I typically get back to you within 48 hours. Sorry, I meant contact submission form. I can't English right now. Now to the second section, starting on college essays. I've divided this section into 6 different steps. The first step is to, again, list out all the colleges you're interested in, plus the details of each college, and that's where the difference is. So again, we've already finished this first section, which I just described. This is compiling college lists and categorizing them into reach, target, and safety. Then I want you to put out even more detailed information. A good place to list this out is in a spreadsheet. You can find whatever works for you. But typically on this spreadsheet, I like to include the information like the school name, the deadline of the application if that's available, whether the school takes a common app or if they have their own separate portal, for instance, University of California applications, and other metrics like, are there any additional essays required? Does the school accept an art supplement if you are artistically inclined? And the URL to where you found all this information. Oh, and don't forget to include the category as well. You can color code your cells in the spreadsheet too, if that makes things easier to visually identify. This spreadsheet will be your go-to resource and sort of guiding post as you go through the college application process. Trust me, this will take some time to compile, but it will save you a lot of time and stress later on, because who wants to go to, let's say, the Harvard Admission Statistics Profile website 4 or 5 times every week or multiple times in a month when you can just open a spreadsheet and all the information is there? So trust me, this step is key. The second step I recommend is creating 2 separate Word files or documents. Title 1, supplemental essays, and the other one, common app essays. You can make a third category if you need, for instance, for UC essays. Now I want you to copy and paste all essay prompts into their respective file. Be sure to include the word limit and the school next to each prompt. For the UC and common app essays, make a note at the top of the number of prompts you have to address. I believe for UCs, it was 2 out of the 6 or 7 prompts they provided. So this will help you later down the line to avoid writing more than you have to. And then I want you to sort the prompts in the supplemental essay sections by theme. For instance, there may be several different essays asking about your greatest strength, except reworded in different ways. And this is one great way of how you can reuse an essay and tweak it to fit each prompt. This will save you a lot of time and will help you avoid writing a unnecessary number of essays. Obviously, there may be some prompts that are specific to why this school or why this, and those would be in their own category. Now, here comes the fun part. Step 3, ideate. List out all the stories that you would write for each prompt. Aim for 2 to 3 stories per prompt. And this is a good place for you juniors out there to start. I recommend doing this in the summer, and this is a great place for you to reflect on your high school and middle school experiences. What were the highlights of your childhood or your teenagehood? What sort of events shaped you to become the person who you are today? Were there any lessons that you learned from particular experiences, programs, or travel? Include them and just simply list them out in bullet point style. Don't spend more than 3 sentences on each idea for each prompt. Here, you are just putting out all your ideas, so then later you can organize them. This step will really help you to save time and help you evaluate which story will be the best one or most appropriate one to use for each essay prompt. Now, step 4, get a second opinion on these ideas or review them yourself. I highly recommend getting a second opinion. It can be really easy to dig yourself into a niche hole and lose sort of that outside perspective. You can ask a teacher, your parent, a friend, or even myself, and you can reach me again through my website. I want you to work with someone else to select which ideas to write about for each prompt and which ones may seem more interesting. It's going to be a really fun conversation to have, trust me. Now, step 5, outline and do not write. Outline with fragments. Break every sort of grammatical structure you can think of. Just put your ideas out there and structure the ideas that you've chosen for each prompt. Typically, I recommend students outline in a structure of introduction, body, conclusion/lessons learned, and then the ending sort of takeaway sentence to increase or maximize your impact. I am happy to provide more details on the outline I usually recommend students do. If you are interested in learning more, just send me an email and I will get back to you. Now notice that steps 1 through 5 don't involve much writing. I haven't even asked you to write a full-blown paragraph for any prompt yet. The reason why I highly recommend going through this step and being very intentional and careful in the ideation process is because this will save you a ton of time later down the line. I want you to save your energy for when it matters. Put in the energy to write a full-blown essay only after you have the right idea for which you want to write about and also an outline of that idea. So then whatever essay you write will be fully structured. Now for step 6, what you guys have probably been waiting for. Write, then edit, revise, and repeat. I recommend starting this step at the very least by August or September, or whenever your school in fall semester begins. Starting earlier will give you more time to edit, revise, and repeat, and that's where you really get to polish your essay. I highly recommend proofreading your essay as well. The last thing you want is to have a stupid spelling or grammatical error in your essay. Here's a tip for checking for typos. Read your essay backwards. Since you've already spent a lot of time in your essay, you probably have most of it from memory, and it's so easy to unconsciously skip over a line or two. Reading your essay backwards will force you to look at every single word to check for any typos that your computer or autocorrect might have missed. I also recommend printing out your essay on actual physical paper and using a pen or pencil to check for grammar. Just read it from front to back and also show it to other people as well, because again, getting a set of fresh eyes always helps. There you have it. A really simple step-by-step and detailed method of how to get started on the college application. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested in more content like this. Feel free to also comment or message me with any other video ideas you'd like me to do or any questions you have. Good luck on the college application process.